All right, happy Friday, everybody. It is April 19th, 2024, here at Precise Algorithm Trading. And let's dive in and see what happened today in the markets and see what we can do about it. So, um, our automated trading systems, this one's irritating me. It's the Dow. It just started looking like it was perking up and then it just took a hit today, but that's aggravating. Three losers. It is what it is. Uh, Here's the Russell, which it looked like it was healing up, and now we've had a couple days in a row of stop outs, which is also aggravating. Again, the math is in our favor, guys. So look at this upward sloping trend line. That's what we're going back to. And this thing was looking like it was healing up, and I still think it is. But this is the Nasdaq, and it also was down more than up today, which, man, we had a nice run there the last couple days, and then we give a bunch of it back. But we had a winning trade at the end of the day, so uh, I'll take it when I can get it. Let's flip over to the regular markets, and this is the S&P 500, and let's go through this real quick. The S&P went down 43.89 points, or 0.88%. That's this one. The Dow went up actually 211 points, or 0.56%. That's this one. The Russell went up 4.69%, or sorry, 4.69 points, or a quarter percent. That's this one. The Nasdaq went down 319 points, or over 2%, 2.05. So, let's do something a little funky here. I'm going to pull this out and detach gadget. So this is our index list, and I'm going to pull up. All right, the VIX. I called this out the other day when the price went out of the Bollinger Bands on the VIX and then went back in. And it's interesting that they went out again today, but they didn't do it on a closing basis. So they're still back in. And so that is a wicked move. That was starting to show like it was healing up, but then it came back in. So but that doesn't mean. I mean, we had the same kind of thing happen back here, and almost there, and you can see we eventually got a reversal, and that's really what I'm getting at here. Is we're coming into potential eventual reversal here, and it's getting ready to happen. Even though this is, and I said this last night, going into a weekend, you can't expect really. I mean, it's not like all of a sudden that's going to bounce, unless there's some world event or some kind of catalyst that was unknown. Because people going into a weekend, a lot of traders unload. They want to go in flat for the weekend. That's not how I trade, and that's not how institutions trade. They can't do that. I'm not an institution, but I'm just saying, um, I'm willing to hold through a weekend. Day traders, however, they want to go in flat. They trade each day. They get in, they get out. They win, they lose, and that's how it works. So wanted to also do this. So this is, let's look at this real quick. This is what I wanted to do. This is the same daily and the weekly chart. I'm sorry, daily and hourly. I just took off the indicators. I left one on that I'm experimenting with. It's called a balance line. And I actually think there's something to it that I might just want to keep it simple and have one of them. But having two of them looks like it might have some promise as well. It's not a lot different than a moving average, but it is different. So I'm going to do some math to it over the weekend and see if it benefits us to use it as well or instead of like the 30 period moving average. I don't think it will. I don't think I want to do away with the 30 period moving average. I just want to possibly use this as a stop. And because again, I said it last night, the main job is to cut your losses short and let your winners run. And if you're in a winning trade and you get stopped out and you stopped out for a profit, then you actually, that's the name of the game. So anyways, if you take off all the noise, can everybody see, I hope, that this was in an uptrend and now it's in a big downtrend? There's no two ways about it. And back here, it was in an uptrend, then it went into a downtrend, and then it flipped back around into an uptrend, which is what it's been in here for months. So sometimes just taking off, this is an old line that doesn't need to be here, taking off the indicators or some of the indicators can help you like clarify. You know, some people only want to trade off of price action and seeing the waves and the pullbacks, and that's great. I want to be able to do that too. I use my other indicators to really help, especially I really don't want to be glued to a computer. So I don't know. I just wanted to show you this. I wanted to actually go through. Let's look at the index products or the futures products. And when I started talking about wicks, candles with wicks, I noticed this when I was going through here at the end of the day. This is actually after market action, because otherwise this would be showing up on the SPX as well. SPX. And there's only a little wick on there. So the wick or the tail on the candle is what I'm talking about. The fact that it got that means that there was some buying coming in at the end of the day after market. And if we look at the Dow, that's a hammer candlestick. I don't know if it's exactly the definition of a hammer candlestick. You'd have to actually do math to it if you care. I don't. That's close enough to a real hammer candlestick for me. And it's a bullish hammer candlestick after all this fall. So this is what I'm looking for when I talk about capitulation. Basically, all the selling has to stop. It usually comes down hard and then gets reversed, and that's what this looks like it did. Now, confirmation off of a hammer candlestick is bullish price action the next day. There's varying definitions of that. The price has to close above the high of today's candle, the actual hammer. That's one definition. One is that you just end up with a higher bar for the next day, and you don't take out the wick or the bottom or the low. But this looks like it's setting up for that. And by the way, I've got this trend line that's been drawn in here for a little bit, and you can see it's starting to think about breaking it over here on the hourly chart. That's why I show the trend lines through the charts the way I do, so that I can actually see that kind of thing happening and starting to happen. So let's continue. The NASDAQ doesn't look that way. There's no wick. The Russell, that's a wick. That's a hammer candlestick. That definitely fits the criteria, even mathematically. It's the upper body has to be in the top 25% of the candlestick. So hopefully that you understand. That's what the definition of capitulation is. And that's what I'm looking for really when on a pullback like this. So let's look at IWM. Oops. Yeah. So and it shows up in the tradable products a little different. SPY. Yeah. And QQQ. Oops. So those are not showing any capitulation, but the fact that a couple of the index products with the aftermarket trading is starting to show like they're going to perk up. Now that doesn't mean I'm expecting either one of those to not give back some into Monday morning, because I am. This is not a full-fledged hammer at all. Hopefully you can see the difference between that and the Russell, which is clearly crap, it moved my thing up there. Slash RTY. That's a full-fledged hammer. So hopefully you can see that. Um, I fully expect. I mean, Russell could actually just launch from there. Something like the Dow can totally launch from there. The Nasdaq is going to probably screw around in this area and mess with everybody before it will probably actually get. At some point, we have to either get a just a they call it a bullish engulfing candlestick, which would just maybe start down here where this one closed or lower, and then just engulf the whole candlestick in a bullish way. That would be another type of reversal candlestick that we're kind of looking for. So anyway, I wanted to give you that a little bit of clarity without all the noise that's in the charts. I have all these indicators on here because I actually want to see, um, the patterns and the things that go into it, and I've got math tied to all of this. So, um, yeah, there you go. If you got any questions, drop us a note. But I'm going to keep moving. So the oil today, I heard this. I don't know. It must have been yesterday. I heard oil went up 2% yesterday, but it sure doesn't look like it on this chart. That might have been an intraday thing when I was just listening to the news, because that's not what's going on there. Gold is still hanging out up there. Gold has just had a heck of a run. And let's see, bonds. Really nothing to do with bonds right now. And then last but not least, let's flip over to, so here's the True Market Insiders bullish percent index that we've been talking about. It's in a column of O's. It went down 0.46% today. And so we'll just keep an eye on that, probably more weekly than daily. And then here's the bullish percent indexes. And the industrials. Ooh, look at that reversal. Makes sense with that hammer candlestick that we're talking about. So up 6.25%. And full disclosure, not because of this, but because of I've been waiting for that capitulation. I actually am long the diamonds right now, and I'm fully expecting to be able to ride it back to, let's look at that DIA. I'm expecting it to ride up and show us some bullish signs, basically fill this gap in here and then roll over. And I'm just riding that short-term trade. So this is actually really good. Now that's not to say it can't roll over on Monday, but that's really good. Moving into that gives me support, a lot of confidence for the position that I'm in. The NYA off 1.27%. The transports didn't move today. The Nasdaq tacked on a new O and went down by 2.51%. The S&P 500 down 2.82%. The S&P 100 actually up 3.77%, so that's a good sign. And then the Nasdaq 100, wow, really puked today, so down 17.24%. And we have broken these old levels of support. So anytime now when this thing does reverse, I mean, we're starting to get to the point where 24% of the stocks in the NASDAQ 100, that's 24 out of 100, are on a point and figure buy signal. We get this thing far enough down, there's just no other way for it to go. And we'll really want to watch for reversals on Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, Tesla, and Apple, those types of stocks. So, and that's what I got for tonight. That's our really the weekly wrap up. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. So, till next time, take care.